All right, hello. Welcome to a VO's Journey. It is Wednesday, March 18th. It is great to be here. Thank you for tuning in. If you are new or you just want to hear the catchy opening again, this show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on, especially in this crazy time that we are living in. So thank you again for being here. It's great to have you. Oh goodness, I didn't have my chat box up, so let me get that up. There we go, that's up. And first off, I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody in your family is feeling okay. My thoughts and prayers are always on all of you and your family. So I hope everything is great there. Today, I want to talk about a topic I think really needs to be talked about. And that is, because I know it's affecting my family, that is how to manage your new schedule and your voiceover business and your family and everything. I want to talk about give you some ideas, some things that I'm doing and my wife we're doing with our family. And I thought, maybe it could help because we are definitely living a new life altogether. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I think hopefully it's going to be really beneficial. I put together some different things to share with you. First off, before we get started, if you would take this moment to subscribe, I would really appreciate that. Hit the notification button if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Welcome. Like this, retweet, whatever you can to get as many people to watch. I would really appreciate it and be thankful. So anyways, let's dive into this topic today. I know just by talking with friends and family and watching all of the things going on all over the world that our schedules are completely upside down. And I think this is something that, when we, especially running a business from home or any business or doing anything for that matter, when our schedule gets flipped upside down, it can be very discouraging. It can be a struggle. It can be challenging just to even know, okay, what do I do? And on top of that, if you have children, which most of us have, right? They're running around everywhere. We're trying to corral them. And then on top of it, right, we've all been thrown into this. Now we are also in charge of teaching our children. So we've taken over, the teacher, and we're charged with that. Now, hopefully your school division or something has sent out information, to you, but at the same time, you still have to show them how to do it. And, I spent the entire morning, which I loved. I really enjoyed it. Now, of course, I was a teacher, so I enjoy that. But I spent the whole morning with my son working on a research paper on Bill Gates. So I find that really cool, and I love Bill Gates, so I thought that was really neat. But, that was something where I split that time. We're going to talk about that with my wife so she could work because she had a bunch of conference calls this morning because, she's e-commuting like I know many and most of us are now, or we're just not working at the moment. So, that's definitely a challenge that we all have to address. And it's a very important challenge because I think that for me, I know my life now being is that I work from home. I'm used to working at a schedule where things don't always have to be from this time to this time we do this, and this time to this time we do this. They can vary, right? They can be different. But, now that things are upside down for so many other people, they're not used to that. You might not be used to that. So let's talk about some of the things that I think you can do to help out with your schedule today and the challenges that we might have. So the first thing I want to talk about is dividing your priorities. This is really, really important. Identifying what your priorities are and then dividing them with your significant other, with whoever, is there with you. If you are alone, identifying your priorities and then dividing them up throughout the day that they need to be done is paramount to being successful. So first thing, what is the number one thing in your voiceover business, for example, that you need to do to make money. The number one thing when we have all of this time on our hands, which it's really not that much time, right? Especially if we have families, but we do have time that we're not at work at another job. There are so many different rabbit holes that we can get down to, right? We can dive into so many different places. That's the challenge with all of this. And because of that, we have to really take a step back and think, okay, well, what am I going to do in order to, figure out the best things instead of getting lost in watching YouTube videos and learning about this or, watching, videos on that and reading this and getting involved in a Facebook group where all I do is read all the stuff, like all the different stuff that, we can get involved in, right? So one of the things that I like to do is identify what the most important thing in my business that I need to do to make money. Because remember, our first job as a business owner, as the owner, the CEO, even if it's just us who are running our business, our most important job is to make sure we are creating continual cash flow, especially now more than ever too with our families, right? So because of that, the most important thing you need to do is make money. So your priorities then need to shift to thinking about, okay, what are some activities that I need to do immediately every single day? Well, the very first thing, of course, that you need to do is if you have voiceover work that is paying you, clearly you need to do that work. Okay? The second thing is you must market yourself. That needs to be a priority. Okay, whether it's emails, whether it's phone calls, whether it's setting up more profiles on different websites, now I know this particular show today is not about what to do with different websites and stuff, but I'm just listing the things that we need to take in consideration, auditions, things that are going to potentially make you money. Okay. Now, there's other parts of our business that we need to handle, like the financial part, like making specific types of profit and loss statements and making sure that our gear is working right and for, organizing stuff and, strategic thinking. All this is very important and it's a necessary evil of our business. But those few priorities of making money have to come first. Okay, but we have something to think about on top of that, right? That's the rest of our family and our children. They're home with us. So we have to think about, okay, what is the priority then? And how do I split that time? How do I, what do I need to do? Well, the first thing, we've got to communicate with our spouses, our significant others, our families, and talk about what has to be done, when it has to be done. Okay. And also another tip too, can your children get involved? I don't know how old your children are, but, my children love to sit, and listen to me and talk to me because, I have the Apollo twins. So like while I'm in my booth, they can actually like talk to me and they can hit the little button, the little talk button and talk to me through my headphones. And, my children love to do that. My children love to record. They just love to be up here, in my little studio. And even if you have, a hobo fort, my children loved my daughter loved getting into my hobo. Even if she was sitting there on the floor next to me coloring, she just loved to be a part of all of this because it is a unique thing that we do. It's really special and different. So, if your children can get involved, that's really great as well. There will become times where it's a challenge, right? Because, sometimes they're not quiet. We have to have quiet when we're recording. So that's where your spouse comes in, your significant other. And that's why it's important for you to work with them to split the time. That's something that, and by the way, it is a compromise. So that's going to be a challenge. I know it's a challenge for us when we're used to going places where our only, job is that job. And if you work from home, you're probably used to being, alone or having all of your work to yourself. But now we're sharing it. So it's a different, I don't know, it's just a whole different feeling. I really like it, but I think that's because too, I've been home now for a while and it's nice to have my family here. And we kind of, since I've worked over the weekends and I've been doing this and my kids have the summers off, I'm kind of used to feeling this way, but this still is different. What's the biggest thing that's different is my wife being home. That's a big difference. Now, of course, my kids go to school every day, or they did before this, happened, coronavirus. But, my wife always went to work, so that she was not home. She didn't get home until 5 or 6 at night. So that's a huge difference with her being home and having to work, and having conference calls, because she's doing so she's on like conference calls all morning long, one right after another. So that's something that I think is a challenge for all of us, and we've got to work that out. Now, the first thing I noticed that goes during this time of chaos that we're in is scheduling, right? Scheduling, planning. Planning is like the first thing that goes, right? It goes out the window. Right now, we should be planning more than ever. And the thing is we really need to be planning more than we did before. But it's the first thing that goes, because we are just trying to hang on. I mean, I know for me, I turn on the news and I'm just like, what is going on? Then the more I watch the news, I actually start to feel sick. It makes me feel sick, right? I feel a lot better when I don't watch the news, but I think I need to watch the news at least once a day to make sure I'm staying on top of everything. But that's another little tip too. If you are stuck watching the news, which no one, you would not be blamed for doing that because of the crazy things that are happening in the world. It might be a good idea to step away from that for a little bit and try to get your focus off of that, taking care of your family, taking care of your business, all of those things. We got to get away from that, just constant, the end of the world stuff, okay? Or it's going to just drag you down. So anyways, plan your day. I'll get back to planning. I got off on a tangent. Plan your day now more than ever. Plan for the short term. I think this is something that, and I work on too, and I work on with coaches that I work with, on the amount of time that we plan. And that's always been a challenge for me, right? Planning out 3 years, 5 years. You hear this thing and it's a common business thing. But if you think about it, planning more than a couple of months, 6 months, 12 months, that becomes really difficult. And now more than ever, it's we don't know. There's so many unknowns. So planning now, and you might be, and if I'm talking to you, logically, I'm thinking, wow, there's so many unknowns. How do I plan for the unknown? But that's the thing, plan for what you know that you need to do. Okay. And the unknowns, we will take care of them as they come to us. But we cannot not plan our days, plan what we want our business to look like in 6 months, what we want our business to look like in 12 months. We still need a plan. How we get there might be different than how we got there a little while ago, okay, a few months ago even, or last year, but we're still trying to get to the same place, right? So that's the whole idea here. But you have to plan. Don't stop your planning. And as always, you're going to have to plan new ways. Like, for example, groceries, deliveries, things like that. Some of the craziest things, that pop up during all this time is like finding toilet paper, the silliest things. And I was talking to my wife last night and we had the idea, of keeping like a journal through this time of our lives as well. Going off on a tangent again, I know, but like all the crazy things that are happening, and keeping a journal of what it's like to actually live during this time, because I hope, but this is something that the world hasn't seen in over 100 years. I guess the Spanish flu, but the world wasn't connected like it is now either. So at that time, you can't imagine how much they knew that was going on around the rest of the world, other than just in their communities, most people. So for us, this is once in a lifetime type of a thing. So to do that, we've got to take consideration that things like grocery shopping, and by the way, you also need to take in consideration that, it could come to a point where we're curfew, like there's a curfew and we're put inside and we can't leave the house only for like 30 or 45 minutes in order to get groceries or to go to the pharmacy. I know there are certain places in the world where they've done that, and I don't think that's necessarily far off from where we are in our country. Okay, so that's just something to plan for, so that you have something in mind. I'll be the first one to say I love eating out. I just love it. I have not ate out in a week and a half now. And of course, I've dropped like 10, 15 pounds, which is wonderful. But it's like all of these things in our lives affect our business. So planning for them, though, is super important. Where are you going to, what type of groceries are you going to get? How does that affect your priorities with your business? And on top of that, how does that affect when you have to do like a live directed session? Okay, these are things that you actually need to sit down and think about and talk over with your family so that the communication is always wide open, and also be open and honest with your customers. That's another thing, because they're going through the same things that we are. We're all going through the same stuff. So being open and honest about those things are super important. All right. Now, I think the last thing I kind of want to just get out there, which we've kind of talked about this, is accepting, the new life that we're living. And utilize different times of the day for your, for managing your voiceover business. What I mean by that is, now that most of us are home all day long, okay, that we're no longer tied to the schedules that we have known for our entire lives, meaning that we're no longer tied to this 9 to 5 or 6 to 2 or 7 to 2 or whatever, or a night shift or a morning shift or a midday shift or 6 hours here. We're not tied to any schedules. So take a step back and look at what makes the most sense for your family. By the way, this is the power of working at home. You do get to create your own schedule. A lot of times it's not as open as it is now because your family's here, your wife, your spouse, your husband, everybody, people are home together, which normally, as I know for me, I work at home every day, but my family usually is gone, right? Because they're living another schedule. They live the daytime schedule and come home at night, whereas I can work any time during the day and night. So now that we all are on this schedule, look at your schedule. You might find that you don't work in the morning. You work in the afternoons. You may find that you work in the morning and you're done before 12. You may find that working in the evening is actually better for you and your family. There's no right or wrong answer here. But the correct answer is to make sure that you are planning, doing it on purpose, and you're not just leaving it to chance or, letting the wind blow a certain way and then you just follow with it. Okay. Plan that destination, try different things. You might find that actually working at night is better for you now after your kids go to sleep, so you could spend the day with them. Or you might find that working 2 hours here and 2 hours here and an hour here and 30 minutes here is actually better than working 8 hours straight. It really is open to all sorts of things. So if you step away from watching the news for a moment and you start to think about how can you use this time, we're all in this situation now. How can we use this time to manage our voiceover business and our schedules effectively? We might be able to grow our business as well. And that should be our goal, is to grow our business. Maintaining is important, but we always want to strive for growth no matter what. So then it's our responsibility then to find out how can we help more people during these tough times, and the growth will take care of itself. All right, you guys, let's see who we got watching. Thank you. I know it is crazy out there, so for all of you to take your time to watch today, I really do appreciate it. We got, let's see, over on Instagram, we've got Walter, what's up? We got Instabath. What's up, Instabath? Thank you for watching. Let's see. We've got Neil over on YouTube. Bonjour. We've got Angela. Hello, Angela. We've got B-Dog at 45. What's up? We got Jim. Good to see you. We got Francis from the Philippines. Hey, Francis. We got Flip. It's great to have you all. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and post them now. We got Laura from Canada. Hello. It's good to have you. You know what I love about all of this, and this is something really special and unique, is that even though all of us are home, with the business we do, we have we still have access to the world. And that's the power of the internet. It's the power of the business that we do. I mean, knock on wood, and I'm feeling humbled and blessed. But work seems to even continuously be picking up for me, and I think that just has to do with more and more people have to communicate. And we're in a position to help them. So that's something that I think we need to keep looking at. All right, we got Scott. Hey, buddy, I'm grinding while watching you. That's awesome. Well, I don't want to take up too much of everybody else's time, so I do appreciate you watching today. As always, subscribe. We are like at 990 or something, 991. We're so or we're even closer than that to hitting 1,000 subscribers. I don't know why that's such a cool thing, but I'm just so happy and blessed because you all are such an amazing community, and I love it. Our Facebook community is so wonderful as well, and on Twitter is super, and Instagram. It's just been amazing being with you, and it feels so much better to go through all of these trying times with all of you. So I guess the last thing I should say about what we talked about today is don't be afraid. Reach out to your community. Whether you're in Facebook groups, whether you're watching, whatever, and you're being with people, don't be a stranger online when we don't have to be. Is this a new norm? Is this how we're going to communicate most of the time now? I don't know. But I know that together we can get through this, and, you all are a constant place for strength for me. So, help each other out as we always do. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. We're going to come back tomorrow with ACX Thursday, and then we're on to 5 Friday. So I'm glad about that. And if you have any questions, comments, don't be afraid to also leave them in the comments. I always try to answer every single comment, and like I said, I really appreciate that. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching again on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Have a wonderful Wednesday. God bless you. Goodbye.